We laugh.
We laugh, baby. We laugh. But yeah. I'm going to pull up IMVU and play on that while Matt and I are raging here. We've got MegaMatt with me. Yeah. Today's topic is, once again, I'm on a rage about the whole creation of characters and people taking a canon character and just kind of just tweaking it to make it what they think is an OC, which is not an OC at all. It's just a carbon copy that you're trying to pass off. And Matt here's got plenty to say about it too. That's why he wanted to join in. So I'll let Matt go ahead and rage for a second while I pull up my screen.
So, first we need to understand what is described as an OC, which Brent and I already both know. An OC, or original character, is a character that is created from scratch and is, for the most part, completely original. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so a character can know a version of a canon character, there could be references of it, but the character has to stand on its own merits as well. You know, which is why some characters that have been created recently in media have been criticized, but that's moving on from top. But an original character has to have its own merits in order to really be considered an OC. Exactly. Which is why a lot of people make an OC that although it's part of the same universe, they don't fully interact with the actual character, or there's something about the character that really signifies how they're their own character and not something like Vegeta Black, for example. Which I'm going to...
We are so going to pick that one apart.
Because I actually had a lot to say about the whole Vegeta Black thing. And I put it in topic discussions in a certain server. Mm-hmm. Here's what I said. Here is the sad truth about Vegeta Black. Vegeta Black isn't original in any way, shape, or form. He's a fan-made character, yes, but here's why the concept isn't original. 1. He was made by multiple people within the Dragon Ball community. That would very much prevent him from being an OC right off the bat. Because of the fact that there are different takes on that particular character. Which also leads us to our next point. 2. Vegeta Black is a fan-made character that is based on 2 already existing characters within the official Dragon Ball. Vegeta and Zamasu, or Goku Black. Now, counting Zamasu and Goku Black as one character, considering that they are the same person. Simply because Goku Black exists, Vegeta Black is not original, especially if he has a similar origin to Goku Black. Vidai Tomodachi's Gohan Black, which is one of the takes on Gohan Black, as there is more than one, as interesting as it is, isn't original either. Though technically an alternate version of Gohan, partially fused with Zamasu, he is still a fan-made character based on the Goku Black concept, which is based on the evil Goku concept, like Turles. He's also an alternate version of an already existing character. 2, if you count the fact that Zamasu is fused with him, technically. An OC, original character, is a term for a fan-made character that is, for the most part, original. As much as it pains me to say it, my version of Goku Jr. is not an original character. Despite the fact that his character is drastically different from the official version of Goku Jr., a version of Goku Jr. already exists within the community, both fan-made and official. With all of this being said, Vegeta Black being an original character is simply impossible. As I mentioned before, he was used by multiple people, and he's an alternate version of Goku Black that's Vegeta instead of Goku.
Mm-hmm. See, my biggest thing is when I started RPing, you had to create something from scratch. Couldn't be like anything that's already been made, and you had to evolve it, which meant, and I'll go back on Cursa Raelinix again. Cursa Raelinix, I hatched from an egg. When she came out, she had very limited abilities. She had to learn to fly. She had to learn to walk. She had to learn to use her breath weapons. She had to learn everything. She didn't come out knowing like tons of magic spells and the mental abilities that she's been trained to do over countless centuries. Everything that's happened to her has legitly been played out in an RP, in RPs. So you're talking 38 years of a character from D&D tabletop straight on to now. And there's nothing in there that's I've taken from any other character. Okay? Everything that she is all original, RP'd out. And this is another one that kind of bugs me. When people, they don't like how an RP's going, they'll suddenly either just get rid of it or do whatever. You can't do that because you cannot just void RP. It's like trying to void life. It happened, it's the past, it's formed what you are now. And at no point have I ever done that with Cursa, where in an RP we've just suddenly went, well, I don't like how that happened. We're not gonna count that. Cursa has died several times. Cursa has been a slave before. These are positions that I did not like her in, but they formed the base of her character. They formed the will to survive, the will to keep going. Everything that's happened to her, good and bad, has made this character. And like I said, there's nothing I've taken from other characters. I've taken nothing from Naruto. I've taken nothing from Bleach. I've taken nothing from DBZ. I've taken nothing from anything. Everything that's come up with for this character, everything that she's been through, has been through my brain. And that's a real OC character. That's an original. When you've got all these people coming in and they go, oh, well, I'm alternate universe. So basically you're telling me that you're the exact same person as this universe, but you just put your name on it and not this person's name. The canon's name. It doesn't make any sense because you're just playing a carbon copy. Why do you want to be the same as everybody else? Do you know how many Gokus and Vegetas and Narutos and Sasuke's I've seen since online RPing and those shows made it big? I have seen so many of them, and it's so boring. If you're going to have something...
Not to mention...
No, go ahead.
Not to mention that for the most part, other than them being like an alternate version, they're very similar to the actual character. Realistically, if you were going down the whole alternate universe route, if you actually noticed in the official Dragon Ball, Xenogoku, his personality is somewhat different from regular Goku.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing people need to consider. Is that not every version of Goku is the exact same. Not just in terms of abilities and power, but also in terms of personality, too. So, that's why in my server, my Dragon Ball New Frontier, which is still in development, so it's not ready to be launched yet, everyone has to have some alteration to the characters if they're going to play canons. And I'm also restricting the amount of people who can be a specific character at a time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's that way there's not too many Gokus and too many Vegetas around. Up to 2 RPers playing at a time. And I know I recently added more that each of them can play as. But that's mainly that's the max they can do. You know what I mean? So, but they also have to make sure that it's not the exact same version that they already established over and over and over again. They could make Kakarot an evil counterpart as well. But, at the same time, I would also encourage them to have OCs as well. That way it's a lot more engaging, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I love people when they really put the time and effort to put it in an OC. Okay, I have Maddie. Madison is my 4-year-old child. not real life, of course, but she's an RP character. And if you were to actually, and some people have read her profile, some people know what I'm talking about. This is a demonic child, and I play her demonic. She is violent. She is mean. She is a trickster. She will kill you without a second thought. This is not oh, she's so adorable. She's a happy little child. She wants everything. No, I play this character specifically to be this evil. She is evil. She kills. She has no qualm about doing something like that. And you get these people who want to play a evil character, but all of a sudden their evil character wants to make friends? Come on. It doesn't work like that. You know?
Like, that character wants to basically find people to use. They're not concerned about making friends.
And that's what I love about Maddie, is because I don't play her to the point where she wants to make friends. She'll trick you to come in close by being all sweet and innocent and all this, but then as soon as you're in close, that's where the trouble begins, because she will take that advantage and try to kill you. I mean, I didn't create her to be soft and nice and cute. I created her to be cute and evil and bloodthirsty. And some people,
which makes her dangerous.
Exactly. She's very dangerous. And people don't want to RP with something like that because that's not nice. Well, I got your niceness, pal. Niceness, you can't have a world of niceness without some sort of evil going on. It just doesn't work like that.
Exactly. Which is one of the reasons why it's like, if you don't really have a struggle, you don't really have a story. And that's why good and evil in storytelling is so important, because without that struggle, you can't really, you don't really have anything to run with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I like conflict. I like when characters are... I love getting my characters into fights. I have gotten my characters into fights. And I am damn good at fighting. I'm very good at making you look at this post and go, dear God, I don't want to cross that child's path. You know, I'm very good at drawing emotion out. But and this goes right into that RPing thing about one-liners and shit like that too, which we will get to. But a lot of the times, if I see somebody post something, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at their profile character, or their character profile, because I'm going to want to see what this character entails. I want to see if it interests me enough to want to RP with this person. Because if you show me that you have created something really good, you've put some time into it, you put some backstory into it, you've made it so that it's a fascinating read, then I'm a little more inclined to say, yeah, I'll drop my character in and see how they do. And a lot of these guys, like I said, we go into the one-line thing. I posted up, I actually have Maddie in another server too. I posted up 2 beautiful para RPs on her because she's a freeform. I don't have to have anyone interact with Maddie. Most times I don't want anyone to interact with her because if she finds you, it's a legit kill. And so I will freeform her a lot. Well, somebody decided to post in and they put something like turns on flashlight. I've got so much beautiful RP paragraphs set up detailing everything she's done and what she's doing, how she is, what she's thinking, her thought, her whole thought process, and someone turns on flashlight. Their next 2 posts were wipes blood of my jacket, which I'm pretty sure they meant off, and the next one was goes underground. And it's like, wait, what? I literally...
You're not really giving us much detail.
Right, I literally...
You're not giving us a lot of...
I literally posted in out of character, I am not going to RP with you if that's all you're not giving me anything. You know, how am I supposed to RP with you with that, you know? Which, at that stage, if you're just going to waste my time with just like 2 or 3, 4 words on a screen as your post, your character deserves to get killed. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry. It's not right that it makes you feel unappreciated for what you write.
Mm-hmm. It makes people like us who actually have added stuff to try to get into as much detail as possible, either with the italics for thoughts or bold for actions, or perhaps even quotation marks for like what the character is actually saying out loud, and simply, in all time and effort, it just doesn't really seem like you really care as much as we do. And
then we go right back into the whole Naruto and Dragon Ball thing. Once again, they do the same thing. Like, my biggest pet peeve was I was RPing and someone put, and they didn't italicize it, they didn't bold it or anything to show it action, they just put powers up. And I sat there and I stared at the screen. I swear to God, I sat there and stared for like 5 minutes at that. And all my brain kept repeating was, what the fudge? Well, fudge wasn't the word I was using. But I just kept repeating that in my head. I'm like, you can't be serious. And then when I finally did say something, this was before like the last time I finally ranted on this, they were like, well, you people that write paragraphs are the reason why RP is dying. No, child, you've got it reversed. You're the reason why RP is dying. Because people like me are so frustrated reading. We'll put up a beautiful RP post, tells you details, tells you what the setting is, and all of a sudden, magically, your character pops out of nowhere, and magically where we're at, and all you can put is powers up. Get the fudge out of my face. You'll be lucky if my character doesn't kill yours. And it will be a legit kill because I will make it one. And I don't do that. I don't run around killing other people's characters with my characters. But you know what? If you're going to waste my damn time and write something as stupid as 2 to 4 words that you can't even bother to italicize or bold to show action, yeah, you deserve to die. Your character deserves to die. Period. End of story. Don't waste my time no more. Tell me that we're the reason that RP's dying. Oh, no. No. These kids that want to put in GIFs and put in pictures and think that that's going to tell what... Use your damn imagination. Write out what your character looks like. Write out what it's wearing, what it's doing, what it's thinking, what it's feeling, what its facial expression is.
GIFs and pictures, although they could be used, they don't really help much. With the information. You still have to write the information out. That way we really have an understanding of what your character looks like or what your character is really doing. The GIFs and the images are not really going to be that helpful for you in order for us our peers, to really understand what your character's thinking, what your character is how your character's feeling, or how your character can deal with situations. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's not going to be like, it's not really getting into detail. It just like, all a GIF is gonna do is show you what the action looks like. That's all it's gonna do.
I could care less about what your action looks like. If you can't write it out, you're wasting my time. Because if your character thinks it has a chance in heck of trying to defeat mine, if you can't write out a paragraph, you ain't surviving against me.
Right.
Oh, see, now we've got I see Big Smoke's here, Sonic's here. Etain? I don't know how you say that. He says that's delusional. Giving paragraphs is rather simple, and if a person truly loved role playing, they would give some actual detail, complete with logic. It's stagnant and stale character if they put zero work into their characters' emotions and/or actions. Exactly. Thank you. It's nice when there's other people who agree with us. I put Cursa on hiatus because I got tired of this crap. But for some reason, I wanted to come back because I honestly do enjoy RPing. I love to write. I'm an English major. It makes me feel good. And I will put a heart and soul into a post, but then when I turn around and all I get is that in response, it makes me feel like all I've done is just wasted. I wasted something wonderful on people who weren't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said earlier, there's, and it's nothing against this person. This is just how she is. But there's one who, in her server, she will constantly change shit up to where she will actually delete whole RPs because she's not satisfied with how it's turning out, or she's just tired of it. She wants to do something different. And it's like, don't do that. And I actually had to tell her, don't do that, because when you do that, you're basically showing people that all their work means nothing to you. That you don't appreciate their work, because that's what it looks like. And that's what it feels like to somebody like me. If I write up a beautiful RP about what Maddie is doing, and suddenly the next morning I wake up and it's gone because the person wanted to rearrange the server, I would just leave. I really would. I would be so upset. I would just be like, you know what? That's not even worth my time. Don't do that. You know? And they understood. I did explain it to her, from the perspective of people that, yeah, that's something that would make people not want to RP, is when you come in and you find everything that you've posted already gone without any prior knowledge or notice about it. It makes you feel underappreciated. It makes you feel like you wasted all your time, And
all the hard work that you put in was not for nothing.
Right, and I think she understands that now, and that'll probably improve. But I've seen that in other servers. I've seen other servers do that shit. And it's like, and then they wonder why people clam up. Well, yeah. When you can encourage people to actually want to RP, and they do actually RP, and then all of a sudden they wake up and it's gone, it's a terrible feeling. I would be distressed if I lost all my stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, with the whole thing with the characters, yeah, you're not an original if you have anything to do with a canon character. It's not even It's not even original if you have them like as a descendant of them. Make something different. Make something new. Something people are going to go, oh, that's an interesting twist on that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. It's like there are some characters where, yeah, you could realistically make sense, for example, like the Belmont clans. But you also have to have something that would make sense as to how that character came to be. You also have to think about the lore that you have so that it does make sense.
And
there's a lot of things you really consider.
There, there, you just said it. The lore. A lot of people won't even waste. They think it's a waste of their time to type in a backstory, lore, anything that tells a little bit more about your character. And people are like, well, I don't want people to know this about my character. Well, I got bad news for you. If you post up a character profile and you don't list specific things, and then you turn around in RP and try to play off like you already had that, it's going to get voided. It's going to get voided because you didn't bother to put it in your profile as something your character can do. If you can't be bothered to do something like that, you can't be bothered to RP. Seriously.
Or how they're able to do it.
Exactly. And that's another one. They don't want to say, they want to come in and already have all these abilities, all this power and everything. They don't want to actually work for it. They just want to sit on their asses and be like, well, I already got it. I learned it because of this, and I did this, and I did that. When canons are practically killing themselves to learn the shit over years. Or in their world, like so many episodes. But it's even then, they don't get it perfect.
Again, Goku was not satisfied with how he got Super Saiyan God originally because of the fact that it wasn't, he didn't feel like it was earned.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I remember that.
He felt like it wasn't earned, which is why he wasn't happy initially. So when he went training with Whis, that's when Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, in his mind, became more earned. Because this was something he actually had to train for. So, and the same can be said with Vegeta too, because both of them trained for what they have. Granted, Vegeta is more intense with his training than Goku is, but it doesn't change the fact that both men have trained to get where they're at. You know what I mean?
And they still train every single day. They train. Well, not every single day. You still see like days where they don't really train. They spend time with their families and stuff like that. Well, yeah, they spend time with their families, or they do other things. But for the most part, they train, and they're constantly training to be able to do these abilities and master them. You're not just going to learn them like, oh, well, I've never done it before, but I think I've got a good chance of actually getting it the first time. No, that's not how that works.
Tell that to Goku when he tried, like, if you're going to say, oh, it's so easy to learn just right off the bat, tell that to Goku who tried to use the Hakai on Zamasu.
Yes.
It backfired on him.
Exactly.
So, and Whis even mentioned, it is not a very easy technique to master. From what Beerus told Vegeta, it's very difficult to master the Hakai.
Yeah. But then you got people running around, oh, I already learned that. I already know that. And it's like, how? Who taught you? How'd you learn it?
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you?
And not to mention, some servers don't allow you to have divine powers.
If I remember correctly, the rules in the server that I'm mostly talking about, there are no gods allowed, no demigods, with the exception of Vissy and myself. And you cannot come in as a already overpowered character. You have to start off fairly low ranked and work your way up. That's in the rules, and people still ignore that. They think they're above the rules, that they don't have to follow them. And that's a big one too.
Instinct shouldn't exist in that RP server.
No, it shouldn't.
Because it is a form, but also a technique of the gods. So, and before people try to say, but Roshi used Ultra Instinct, it was actually confirmed that he did. If you actually read the same manga chapter where it seemed like he did, Whis actually diffused the idea of it being Ultra Instinct. He said it was a similar principle, but it wasn't the actual thing.
Exactly.
So, Ultra Instinct actually requires divine power, and in Goku's case, it is both a form and a technique. And in order to master Ultra Instinct, Goku has to master both. The form and the technique.
But like I said, you got all these people who come in and they're just like, well, my character already has all this, and my character's already that, and my character's so super powered. Why? You're boring now. You're absolutely boring. Why would anybody want to RP with you? You are so boring.
Like, as much as some people may find him boring, and I know even though you don't like this character, you can't deny the fact that even Superman had to earn things. That even Superman had to basically overcome obstacles.
Oh yeah, and I will grant that. I will grant that. But as you said, I'm not a Superman fan. But even I will sit and admit that yes, he started off as a child. He had to learn.
His powers he didn't have all of his powers right off the bat. His powers were manifesting. He had to learn how to control them. And the only difference between well, actually, there are three major differences between the kid from Brightburn and Clark Kent. One, Brandon was getting his powers right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Clark his powers were slowly manifesting.
Right.
All the way up to adulthood. Two. They were sent to Earth for two complete different reasons. Clark was sent to survive, nothing more, and Brandon was sent to take over the planet. And three, Clark actually had a father figure and a mother figure that did not fear him and were actually guiding him and doing their best to help him get used to the world that he would now have to live in. These are three major differences between those characters.
Mm-hmm.
And Superman had to learn to overcome not only his powers manifesting, but also he had to overcome enemies who were stronger than him. He had to learn his weaknesses, learn his limits. Even if he shattered limits, there was always going to be another limit that he had. And in some storylines, he had to come to grips with his mortality.
Mm-hmm.
So these are major aspects of the character, to where he seemed overpowered, but there's an explanation to his powers, and also there are limitations to them, and also the fact that despite these powers, he is human. Despite the fact that he is good-natured for the most part. There are times where he had to basically understand that being a Boy Scout doesn't really help his situation. Because despite his powers, people don't fear Superman. People fear Batman.
Heck yeah, Batman for life! Sorry.
And that's because Batman is not a Boy Scout. That's why. Because, let's be honest, Superman could easily kill somebody. He just chooses not to. And people know this about him.
Right.
Which is why Batman is more effective as a hero than Superman is. Despite the fact that their methods are different and Batman's methods are more extreme, and despite that Bruce doesn't, for the most part, have powers. It's because their methods are different. Superman is more benevolent, where Batman is more... He has the mentality of criminals are a cowardly, superstitious lot. The only way to beat them is to give them something to be afraid of. Despite his seemingly godlike powers, people don't fear Superman. If anything, he tries to be more of getting the hearts of the people through respect and giving people hope, to where Batman is more so about getting the job done.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons why they actually work so well together, despite their differences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but ramble aside, every character has some form of limit.
And that works the same with weaknesses. But people don't put weaknesses. They like to just, well, my character can do this, my character can do that. Well, no, you can't do that to my character. Okay. What can people do to your character? It's not like they can use the out-of-character information of your profile to use against your character in character. You know, it's... But there has to be weaknesses. Cursa has weaknesses. Maddie has weaknesses. If people find it, then it's a legit find. It's there's no character ever. Even gods can die. And these people are like, well, but I'm immortal. You're immortal, nothing.
It's like there are many stories where many beings that are considered immortal actually there's different levels of immortality from what I've seen in media, not just RP, but like writing in general.
Mm-hmm.
There are characters who are able to be resurrected. There are characters who can't die, which there's a downside to immortality as well. So people need to understand that even immortality has a downside. You're going to be able to outlive every person you ever meet.
Okay, here you go. You really want to go into the immortal thing? Okay, we'll go straight into the Highlander series. Highlander series were immortals, okay? They walked around. You didn't know they were immortal. They knew who they were. Here's where it got interesting. They could still die by taking each other's heads. Well, right there is the significance of this whole thing. There was a weakness. There was a cause for death. That's what it was all about. And that's what it meant to be. Nobody is completely immortal. Everybody can die. Hi! Nice of you to visit us, Missy. We're streaming.
I heard someone saying that immortals aren't actually real, and so I had to pop my head in.
Oh, yeah. So we're talking about, we've covered carbon copy fetuses that can't seem to understand that when you create a character, you can't use anything canon to make an OC, but they still call it an OC because they have no clue. We've covered over the immortality thing, which is what we were just talking about.
Have you covered the thing of where people like to take a character and turn around and give it a new form and say that it's an original character?
Oh, yeah, we started touching on that. Yeah, we started touching on that too.
It's like, oh hi, yes, I have a pink Sonic the Hedgehog. He's called Gay the Hedgehog. He's my official OC.
Or I have a version of Goku Black that's Vegeta instead of Goku.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yo, that Vegeta Black idiot is, oh my god, don't even get me started, please.
Oh, we could get started on that one. I mean, after all,
people have actually done it better. So, done that version of Vegeta Black.
But mother,
yes,
you do know that your Discord audio, the stream can hear MegaMatt and myself twice, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can fix that.
We're gonna have to sort out. We'll have to sort out your audio thing, or if you screen share me your audio thing.
Did that improve?
If you have a audio set up for your chat, but you're also recording all audio coming from your PC, that's gonna make a double loop.
Oh. Yeah,
What about sunshine?
I generally turn my sound down for certain things. so it doesn't like do the echo thing. I don't. You know what? My whole sound thing has been screwed up ever since I had to reorder my headset. So as soon.
She's probably fixing the audio.
Haha. Yeah, I'm probably fixing the audio.
She's probably fixing the echo.
I am trying to
fix
fix it.
What it is.
Okay, so here's my thing. Ever since the headset got broke, since I had to like swap headsets with the better half, and I have to send the bad one back, the good one will be here tomorrow, which will fix a lot of the audio problem. Until then, this has just been one big headache with my audio. My Discord audio has been screwed up.
I offered to help you.
I know, but
I offered to help you,
I know,
Mumsy.
but at the time when I got the headset, it fixed a lot of it, and I didn't have to worry about it. So once I get my headset back tomorrow, then I should be good. It's just I got on a rage.
Day, by the way.
What's that?
I completed White Day.
Did you?
That Korean horror game in the school. I managed to complete it on hard mode. Yes.
Nice.
I now had to complete it on hell mode.
Ugh. Good luck to you on that one.
Hard mode was an ass in itself. Hell mode, Jesus, that's not going to be fun.
No, I wouldn't.
I died nearly 50 times in there, because if you die 100 times, you get an achievement. I've died about 50 times in hard mode on White Day. It's ridiculous.
I can believe it. But anyway, yeah. We were like running the whole thing about, because I don't know if you saw in the server that little thing that went back and forth between me and the other person, and
which server?
MK.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Talking of MK, I've just seen something.
Oh, sick 'em. Beam, I guess. I'm done chatting about that in there with them.
Oh, it is this? I'm gonna go pounce the MK. Because I've just seen them in a voice chat, so I'm gonna go pounce them.
All right, get them. I like that outfit.
Okay, hey,
cuddles. Bye. And there goes my kid. So she's like one of the only ones that can actually. I think she's one of the only few that can actually see this actual VC. But yeah, I gotta get that fixed. I know it's got a bit of an echo on it. It's the whole not having my headset. But I really wanted to. What the heck did I just do? Check my. There we go. There's my outfit. It's like that. It's a nice outfit. Yeah, it's just I'm so tired of people at this stage. Honestly.
Yeah.
But
it's like,
well, I mean, what can you do anymore? Honestly.
yeah, it's like you can't really do much anymore. You can't really change people.
They don't listen.
Unfortunately.
They don't listen. They don't want to listen.
They don't care.
I got Merida hair. Look at that shit. Oh my god, look at that.
It's like
I just need me a horse.
You're wasting people's time by actually not really getting into detail or giving us a lot of information
to work with.
Have us have any idea. Like, you gotta give us something to work with. That way, we are able to think of something that would very much allow us to keep the story going.
Yeah.
Because people need to understand, RP is supposed to be an interactive story, and everyone plays some role in it. It's kind of like a tabletop RPG, except without the dice rolling and stuff like that.
And I like the dice rolling, so yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, And another issue with RP is that this is something I had to overcome, get over, and stuff like that, is that people don't want to take damage, apparently.
Yeah, I love that.
So
they don't wear out
it has
either.
no effect, they can block it,
They don't run out of energy either.
It's like they don't want to make the characters tired. To where, yes, even though Goku has a insane amount of energy, he still wears out. He has been shown to get worn out. It's literally been shown to the audience in both the anime and the manga. Even in the promotional Heroes anime, he's been shown to run low on energy and stamina from a fight.
All right.
And people, and even though Vegeta gained a new form in the promotional anime, it was more so him gaining control of a power he was already exposed to. So, which was the evil power that turned both Goku and Vegeta berserk. In Goku's case, twice. So, that's a major issue that some people don't seem to really
grasp is the word I would
grasp. Is that it's like characters have limits, and that sometimes power can corrupt a person or it can drive them mad. Like, there's always a downside. Like, there's pros, there's cons, there's perks, there's limits. And it's not something that people seem to understand, is that you have to have the negative side to something as well as the positive.
Well, that would be too easy then.
It's like, and if you don't, it's like, it makes you look overpowered.
It doesn't have to make you look anything. As soon as you come in and you post that profile where it's got a ridiculous, it's a whole bunch of just I'm this and I'm that and I know all these moves and everything else, and you're just sitting there like, well, wait a minute, how did you earn all this? What did you do? How did this come about?
Like, and you just have it all.
Yeah, you just automatically know everything that Goku had to take years and years and years and years and years to learn, and suddenly you possess it. Yeah.
That would piss him off to no extent, because of the fact that Goku has the very ideology that power is earned.
Yeah.
The same thing can be said about Vegeta. Is you want Super Saiyan God, you earn that shit. You want you want Ultra Instinct, you earn it. You want whatever powers they have gained, you earn it. Both of them have the mentality of you need to earn your shit. Because if you don't actually earn it, it's not really worth having.
Nope.
But you also have to be willing to accept the downsides to having the power as well. Because as it works in the real world and in actual writing, power comes at a price. Like, sometimes, like, if you gain power from, like, an evil being, they will control you afterwards. You basically have to sell your soul to gain that type of power. So it has a consequence. Like, which is one of the reasons why is the only way, if you're going to submit an OC, the only way you're going to be able to start off with a lot of things is if you submit what your character experience is. If you're integrating a character you've already established, outside of the server, and you add more to the character, and you actually tell us what your exactly in detail what your character went through, what your character has accomplished, what your character has achieved, and you actually have to make it in the form that is like it's detailed and it makes sense. It explains how your character is at where they're at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do that, you're gonna have to start completely from scratch. I'm like, with canon characters, I'm also putting, as you know, I'm putting restrictions on the canon characters. But it also has to be something to where, you have to, if Goku has a certain amount of forms, I might actually restrict people from being like, okay, you have every Super Saiyan form, but you don't have an explanation how he has it. It's like, you might want to rework that. Or I was like, okay, your character doesn't really seem to have the merits of, like, having every form. This particular version of Vegeta, so I'm gonna have to ask you to give up something so that it doesn't seem like overly powered, since there's not really enough to really explain how he has the powers. You know what I mean?
Yep. I get it.
So it's like, so I might have them tweak things up a bit too. So, but I also want to try to put it to where, okay, it's not going to be like something like, he's like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. I would more so explain to them. It's like, it doesn't seem like you really, according to, based on what I've done, like evil Saiyan can't be achieved through traditional means. So, like the newly introduced evil Saiyan form that was introduced in Heroes, that can't be achieved through normal means. That requires evil ki.
Right.
And you said your character doesn't have that. So that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's an inconsistency in the lore. So I'm gonna have to ask. I would be like, I would explain that to them. Is like, and because of that, I'm gonna have to ask you to either change it, or I'm going to have to ask you to subtract a form, please. Like, and another issue is that like, okay, if you have Super Saiyan Blue and as Super Saiyan 4 and the God forms, you gotta explain how you got both of those forms. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to actually explain it. So, like, okay, because, and this is why I wanted to do the alternate versions of the characters. If I was to use canon characters, because it would actually allow people to do something like that. You know what I mean? To explain how they have Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan Blue. For example, they experience a version of the events of GT before Super, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, you gotta have an explanation. And if you can't really have that for not just your original character, but also the canon character that you're going to be portraying, I would encourage people to start from the ground up, which would benefit greatly, because it would guarantee the fact that they're going to get everything with time and patience. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because Goku intends to train. If he's going to train a Saiyan, for example, he's going to want to teach them how to channel every transformation that he can access. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's that's that whole thing about like using a cannon that you have no right to use. If you're gonna say, "Well, Goku train me," well, how about giving us some detail about why Goku would even bother with you? What are you so special? What makes you so special that out of the billions of people all over the planet, he chose you? You're not showing. You're not showing us anything, really.
It's like why would Goku train? Why would Goku or Vegeta, in that matter, train you?
Exactly.
Usually, they would see they would have based on the actual series themselves. They only train people they see potential in.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, like you must have had to have encountered Goku before. Like, explain that. Explain that encounter that caused Goku to decide to train you.
Yeah, what made him? What made you run into him? What, he's, as far as I remember, he was dead. So if he's dead, how did you run into him? For him to train you, all this stuff. Because apparently, you must have died too, but then again, if you died, what made you so special that you got brought back?
Or another example. If you were, like, in Fontaine City, for example, any version of Goku that would be in the Time Patrol, they would be occupied with a lot of stuff. You would have to basically, for them to personally train you, you would have to do something that would basically not only catch their attention, but also catch their interest as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the same with Vegeta, the same goes with Gohan, the same goes with Piccolo, any other canon character. You have to show us something as to why a character would train you. If that makes sense for those wanting to it. It's like you really need to actually showcase. You need to explain something that would cause. You need to give us like a story as to how you ended up training with this person.
Exactly. Well, I hate to cut the stream short. I've got something I got to take care of. But thank you for coming on and voicing your opinion on this too. I know it bugs you as much as it bugs me. We will probably stream them later. Like tomorrow when I get my headset. Everything will be better then. So,